today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young on a first Topic Time edition of the actual summer solstice. We have an awesome show tonight. Kind of a last-minute fill-in. He's an entrepreneur. He's got a lot of weird stuff going on, but it's interesting, and we're going to talk to him in a couple of minutes. Before we do that, we got these great underwriters to read off. So here we go. We got the Granite guys in Halifax. They're new. We got Studio 53 Salon and Dave Spire in Pembroke. Free haircut with a highlight. Okay, by Samantha Elliott. We got Ocean Bluff Automotive in Marshfield. We got Brewery 44 in Carver, right here in Carver. It's a new one. We got the main ingredient, Just Good Food in Middleborough. We got Ocean Street Auto Repair and Service in Marshfield. We got Crazy Axes Recreation Center in Hanover. We got Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We got Carver Jewelers right here in the building with Ronald R. and Lyle Delano Goldsmiths. We got Genuine's Inspection in Middleborough. We got the Gunrunner LLC in Middleborough, dedicated to your Second Amendment rights. We got Tom Auto in Middleborough. We got New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. And we got good old Dave's Automotive in Hanson, right here on Route 58. And I want to thank you guys very much. And on that note, now I'll introduce this gentleman, Mr. Jared Dodge. He lives in a part of Massachusetts I'd never even been to before, up in the North Sea area, called Byfield. I guess it's right outside of Newbury. You don't mind my telling the world that, do you?
No, not at all.
Okay, and he was, like I said, he was a last-minute fill-in, but I always say everything happens for a reason, and we're going to make it a wonderful show. So, first of all, Jared, I want to thank you for appearing on Topic Time, and we have a lot to cover tonight.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Okay, well, so we had a long conversation recently about what you've accomplished and about what inspired you, and about some of your own creations. And so what I always do with every guest is I try to go back to their childhood and find out what they were like as kids and how they got to where they're at now. So let's start with that, and let's roll a little forward, and then it won't take long to get us to the present. That's
a good way to go. No, let's do it that way.
Okay.
So, as a child, I was pretty much interested in everything. So,
okay.
I picked up a book and I read it, and I learned about whatever it was, and it was almost like an obsession with everything, but it wasn't really obsession because my brain was like a dry sponge.
Cool.
Like I was just able to absorb it all. So I got smarter than I should have been for my age, which always gets you in trouble. And I graduated high school before I was 16, or just about turning 16.
Really? How did that come to be?
I was able to go and get my GED test. They told me it was impossible, and they said that I had to take pre-tests, but I was able to pass all their pre-tests in high 90s, so I didn't have to take any summer classes or anything. What it was is that there was one teacher that would teach 4 classes. Like they would teach all the way from 9th grade to the senior year.
Okay.
And they would have all the textbooks on the radiators. So when you were in there and, taking the class, all the textbooks for the new years were there for you to read. So I spent my time reading those textbooks. I just borrowed them.
Okay.
Borrowed. So I took them home, I read them, and I returned them. So I had
What were the textbooks about mostly? Different things?
It was junior and senior level material for basically anything like math or English and science and things like that.
Okay.
Things that they said that I wouldn't be able to know at my age.
Yep.
And they told me I wouldn't be able to pass the GED test. And I said, well, is there anything I can do? And, I fought them to the teeth, and eventually they were like, well, if you take the pre-tests, we'll see where you fail, and then we'll give you summer classes. And if you can pass those, then you'll be able to take the test again. So I slammed all their tests with high 90s. So they had to give me every test, all 5 tests. And then I slammed them again with all high 90s. So I was like, all right, I graduated. But, I either had to go to work or go to school. And that was my father's rules.
Yep.
Run away from home when I was, just turning 16, around the same time.
Wow.
I tried living in the woods in a van, which is pretty amazing.
You mean homeless in the woods at 16? But,
yeah.
Okay.
No, it was cool. I had a Chevy C20 conversion van. It had an electronic leather bed that you could press a button, and the thing just laid down from like 2 back seats,
Okay.
front and back, like to the back of the van, and it would lay down into a full-size bed.
Okay, cool.
Queen size bed. So I was able to sleep in that for a while, but it was tough showering. So
Yeah, no
stayed
kidding.
with a friend.
Yeah.
And I seemed like I was overstaying my welcome. I felt bad being, in their personal business, and I wanted to get out of there. And the only choice was my father's house because, my stepfather didn't like me. It was just a weird situation. My mom, her thing with him and the new family, she had kids. It's kind of a difficult situation to explain all in one episode here, but it basically made it tough for me to go back to my mother, so I only had one choice. It was either continue to shower at my friends' houses and live in a van in the woods, or move in with my father.
Okay.
My father's stipulations were, you either have to go to school or you have to go to work. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to go to school. A little did my father know, I had already got my GED. So
Right.
I pretended to go to school, and I didn't tell Triton either. So I went to school under the impression that I was still trying to graduate, but I would just sign myself out every day.
Well, did you go to school or not? You pretended to go to school and you really didn't?
From 16 on, I pretended to go to school until they were about to expel me. And then I went up to the principal and I asked him to be congenial about it. And I said, listen, you've seen me skip a grade in math. I was in Algebra 3 Advanced. I couldn't even make it to a junior homeroom. I was a sophomore.
Okay.
And I was in a senior Algebra 3 Advanced class.
Okay.
That usually doesn't even exist to people that normally go through the regular subjects. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I made it to advanced places without even being able to advance. So the guy was nice, and he actually said, I'm not going to expel you. I'm not going to make that.
Well, wait a
on your
minute. You said
record."
you already graduated. What school are you talking about? That you went to?
Triton Regional.
What's that?
Triton Regional.
Oh, Triton.
After I graduated, Triton didn't know I graduated.
Okay.
So I kept going there.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have to work.
Why did you do that?
Because I was a kid. I was 16. I
Yeah,
didn't
but
want
if
to
you
go to work.
if you already graduated, why did you want to keep going?
Because it gave me an excuse to not go to work with my father.
Oh,
when I
okay,
had
now
to
I
move.
get it. All right.
Yeah, when I had to move in with my father, that he gave me a choice: school,
School or
or
work.
work.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
So I said school,
Okay.
and he was at work every day. So if I just went in and signed in, then technically I was going to school, and I was coming home and just spending the day hanging out with my friends.
Okay.
So it
Already a little off
My
the
father-
cuff and unorthodox. That's what we like here on Topic Time.
Yeah, no, my father ended up catching me a bunch of times. And
Okay.
then it got to the point where I was getting expelled. Then I went up to to not the dean, it's not like that there, it's a principal. And I asked him, I said, can you do me a favor and just not have that on my record?
Pretty
Because, you can clearly see, you can talk to my math teachers. I skipped a grade in math, and I wasn't even able to make it to my sophomore year. So, I mean, my junior year, like I made it to sophomore homeroom,
good. Okay.
but technically I was supposed to be a junior. So I still had an extra year. I had to do another 3 years of school if I wanted to graduate. So by taking care of this then, it was like perfect timing. So as soon as I got caught so many times that they were going to expel me, I went to the principal and said, can you not do that? Can you just give me a break here? Like, I already got my GED. Here it is. I handed it to him. And I was like, I've already graduated.
Okay.
I've just been playing the system because I didn't want to go to work for my dad.
Well, wait a minute. So, all right. But you eventually created some stuff, some success for yourself. A few years later, let's talk about that. Can you go a little forward? Because I want to find out.
Yeah,
You really
my father
created a lot of stuff.
Figured out that
Yeah.
I wasn't going to school
Okay.
because I got expelled.
Right.
So eventually I had to tell him, and then I had to go to work. So I started working for him doing electrical when I was 16 years old.
Doing which?
Electrical.
Electrical stuff, like
Yeah.
like an electrician.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, mostly residential, some commercial,
Okay.
and I also learned a lot of low voltage as I went along. But he left me with over 150 clients when he left this area,
Yeah.
and then he passed.
Yep.
So all those clients still call me, and then I have to go through subcontractors to get those jobs. But I basically have a never-ending supply of clients because of my father,
Okay.
and because of the knowledge. I
Right.
mean,
So you already, and you're a licensed electrician, correct?
No, I'm not licensed.
Okay.
I never went for my license. I went to the school for it. I have all the school hours.
Well, how
and
do
I
you
have all the field hours.
how do you service clients if you're not licensed?
You subcontract. You have to call somebody with a
Oh,
license,
okay.
and then you work under their license as a subcontract.
Okay, cool. So, and you're doing pretty well with it, right?
I barely ever do that.
Okay, well, all right. Well, all
The
right.
new
So what is this-
successes that we talked about earlier have
Yeah.
to do with trading stocks,
Okay.
and they have to do with the endeavor of my business that I've been working on for 21 years that I had no idea that was going to expand into what it is.
Well, let's talk about that now. Let's move forward because I want to find out, I want the viewing audience to find out
Well-
how you went from this to that. So go ahead. You have a couple of books there you want to
I started
go
out
with here.
metal detecting, so I brought you a gift.
You got me a gift. It could be a lethal weapon or it could be an ancient artifact. Thank you very much.
It's a letter opener.
Letter opener. I don't get many
Found that in
letters,
the
but
sand, so it's in good
pretty, so
condition.
I'll keep it. It's also, I can also cover this and then it's a crucifix.
Excellent.
And I just pricked my thumb.
It
Pretty
could
funny.
be whatever you want it to be.
Okay,
It's
that's
just
cool.
a
I
gift.
appreciate it. All right. So,
Just something special to me. I don't know what the insignias are. I think it is Spanish.
Okay.
If you look at it closely. But
yeah, we looked at it on the way over. Okay, it's pretty. I like it. It might be worth $1 million. Who knows? I'll get it appraised and find out.
So
Give you a cut if it is.
As a kid, you know, I told you about getting my GED early and
Right.
reading all the books on the counter as well. I wasn't satisfied. I sat in the library. I was the nerd. I was the one that was socially unacceptable. Nobody talked to me. I wasn't,
Okay, I know
you
the feeling.
I wasn't cool.
Okay.
Like,
Yep.
You know, like, and I would pick out the dusty books that nobody would ever touch.
Okay.
And just open them up to a random page and start reading. You know, I never started a book from the beginning. I usually just picked one and started reading anywhere.
Okay.
And the weirdest things that I learned and the things that I came about were, it was almost like synchronicity that it happened the way that it did, because I've been working on this for 21 years, and that's
What
what
have
this
you been
is.
working on for 21 years?
Remember when Nintendo came out?
Yes, I
About
do.
21 years ago.
Never had one, but I remember.
Well, anyway, this is a Nintendo game. If you
Okay.
take the plastic off,
Yep.
that's a Nintendo game. Right? It says Nintendo, if you read it right here.
Okay.
19.
It'd be 19, it would be 21 years. It's 2000, so right at the beginning of the
No,
century.
this is 1986.
Then it's 20. Then it's 35 years ago.
Okay, so that's how old this circuit board is, which
Okay.
means the gold plating on it is heavier than gold plating of newer versions of games. So now you look at video games that go into a Nintendo Switch, and they look like, I mean, they're half the size of that.
Cool.
And they slip in. So you would think, like, you know, they wouldn't need this much gold anymore because they figured out ways to use less gold and other materials that we don't have. So what I started doing was I started taking apart everything that had gold circuit boards in it.
Cool.
I started looking at the gold
That is gold.
in everything.
Got a lot of gold there.
I mean, these are the central processing chips of computers. So
Okay.
that's one computer. That's one computer. Those are, you know, the main motherboards. This is just a connection point for a cord, and it's absolutely matted, all the connectors. This is a button to, I think, a mosquito magnet.
Mosquito magnet?
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
It's a thing you put out in your backyard. You hook propane
Oh, I see
to
what
it.
you mean. You're talking
They-
about, all right, that's one
They're
way
actually,
of attracting.
they're
getting
actually
rid of them,
really
I guess.
valuable. They have a catalytic converter inside of them.
Okay, all right, let's elaborate a little bit more on what this
Well,
business is.
that's actually what this is all about. The
Okay.
catalytic converter also holds the honeycombs, which hold the gold, platinum, palladium, silver, rhodium.
All right,
you know.
suffice to say, you're a collector of fine metals.
Basically, yeah. So
Okay.
what I started doing was I started picking these up, collecting them. These
Yep.
are printer tabs. They collect the information from the printer cartridge.
Okay,
These are from the printer itself. And just that little amount of paper, but all that gold coating.
okay,
Eventually sent through the right processing center that can be built into a pile of gold.
okay.
So I thought of it as a way to make money. But then I bought a book, really expensive, and the only
$100,
one,
right? You told me.
yeah,
Wow.
and the only one that exists that I know of.
Okay.
And this book right here
Yep.
showed me that it's not about the money, and you'll make money if you really want to get into it, if you want to like spend your life on it. But
Right.
really, this is about people coming together and doing the right thing. The way I
Meaning
was
what? You're doing what's the right thing?
okay, so all of these things that you're seeing here,
Yep.
like this right here,
Yep.
it's in a printer. What do you do with your printer?
What's that?
What do you do with your printer when it dies?
Well, like I told you, my printer has been on the fritz for the past 10 years. I haven't even bothered to fix it because every time I tried to
Well,
fix it.
what do you think most people do? They
Well,
throw
most
them
people,
away,
they
right?
probably buy a new one or they upgrade the old. Or
But what do they do with it? Do they throw it away?
They probably, well, don't they, I would say I would guess they trade it in. Trade it in and get a better one? Is that how
That
they-
would be the correct thing to do, but we're talking about the majority of people here.
All right, what do they do? I have no idea.
Well, most people hide them in the trash.
That's kind of what I do. I haven't trashed mine. I'm hoping maybe someday.
Or you get a dumpster and
Figure a
you
way
do the
to
same
fix it,
thing
but-
with a TV or an AC.
I did that with a keyboard once. That didn't work.
Yeah, well, a keyboard is the furthest thing from you, whereas a keyboard actually doesn't even have a circuit board in it, believe it
Okay.
or not.
All right, go on. So how does this pertain to what you've done?
The idea is that everybody is so used to just throwing things away
Yep.
that they don't really know the difference between what's going to change the water that you bathe in, the water that you brush your teeth in, like the water that you might even drink thinking it's well water
Okay.
and it's cleaner than town.
Okay.
This is all water that has been rained through all the dump sites that you're dumping your batteries, like your AAA batteries, your
Yep.
headlamps, like, like clickers, like anything that have batteries, you're throwing them away in the trash.
Okay.
What else do you do with batteries? You're not gonna sit there and make a 5-gallon bucket full of batteries. What, to just take them when it weighs 100 pounds and you fill the bucket over to the some hazardous waste place and be like, so how much can I give you these for? Yeah, it's
Okay.
nobody wants to do that. So
All right.
you slowly just keep throwing them away. They keep going into landfills. They keep going into the ground. We're just adding mercury and lead from the solder from every circuit board. And
So
we're
basically,
adding
we're poisoning
sulfuric
the
acid.
environment. You're trying to change that, right?
I'm bringing awareness to the fact that we're doing this and
Okay.
that people should just do the right thing. The service that I'm about to provide and when
Yep.
I create the company that I'm trying to create, all of this will be solved because I will come and take care of it all for you.
Cool.
I will train people to do the same thing in every city in every country.
Wow.
And I plan on making this absolutely global because it needs to be. It has to happen.
Okay, and I believe
People
in you.
really
I believe
need
that
to
you're
understand.
capable of making it happen too.
Oh, there's no question.
Okay.
I've done my research. I know that it's more than possible. It's absolutely a necessity.
Yep.
The government's willing to back it, and it's a nonprofit. So
Cool.
there's no question that anybody would take the business. And I have several forms of it. So I have a different business for anyone. Whatever they have, I can make work. I mean, if you have a license and a car, I can give you a business tomorrow.
Cool.
I mean, it's that simple. It's just a matter of whether you want to make the next step. All right, it's good. Now you don't throw stuff out the window anymore. People are stopping doing that.
Okay.
The awareness got around. We're not the same as we were. We're not just carelessly destroying. Well, some of us are, but generally, people are getting the awareness and they're protecting the environment. People are not littering. They have trash bags in their cars. It's like a
Yep.
normal thing now. People really keep their cars clean and they're not throwing stuff out the windows. That's huge.
Good.
But the
I'm glad
next,
they're doing-
the
glad
next
they- glad
step,
there's less littering than there used to
right?
be.
But this is way more dangerous.
Okay.
What we're doing is we're putting chemicals in the ground. And I can tell you, right from the beginning of this book, it will tell you real quick. I'll just read a quick quote.
Okay.
That is applicable. Here we go. E-waste, so anything that I took all these out of,
Yep.
any kind of machine, or anything with a clicker, anything with a battery, anything with a cord, anything that's electronic, usually has a circuit board.
Right.
Every camera, every device, everything you have is a
Like
circuit
Boomy
board.
here, yep.
Yeah.
Got
Even
it.
chairs have circuit boards when they have the
Okay.
So they contain over 1,000 different substances, many of which are toxic to potential hazardous to the environment and human health, if not handled in an environmentally sound manner. So something has to be done. We
Okay.
can't just be tossing, up to 1,000 hazardous chemicals into the ground and be like, oh yeah, the water system's just going to figure that out.
Oh, that makes sense.
You know, like they're not going to be able to filter this. Eventually, it's going to cost so much money.
You're breaking the ecosystem down every day.
Yeah, and it's going to
Okay.
cost us so much in taxes to be like our water bill is going to go up like crazy. I mean, it would be like California would be like out of water just because.
Listen, where I live in Brockton, the water bills, for some people, the water bill's so excessively high, people can't even pay it, and they don't know why they've been charged. That may be the reason.
This is the affluence of contaminants. This is
Absolutely,
what's happening. And it's because of electronic waste. People are carelessly, like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it sucks because, you know, my whole life I threw batteries in the trash.
Yeah, me
What,
too.
what can I say?
don't
Like,
anymore.
you know, I don't want to be a hypocrite here, but like, you know, I'm trying to put this awareness out there so people like at least take the time and think about it. All right, just put a little tiny bucket or a little bag underneath your sink.
Right.
You know, throw your AA, AAA, you know, CD batteries. You know, your kids' toys. You know, throw those batteries in a bag.
Okay.
When I come to your house, I'll pick up all your stuff for free. All the stuff you have to pay for.
Yep.
And then there's other things that I have to pay for, and I'll show you. I'll show you on the internet so that you totally can see that I have to pay for it.
Okay.
I'm not trying to profit from you. So I will take it for less than you can get rid of it for if you were to deliver it.
Right. Okay.
And that's so easy because there's so much money in it, and it's such a hidden thing, and it's horrible.
So basically,
Because-
you're talking about recycling stuff that's poisoning our ecosystem and making money off it.
Yeah, see, I have to pay to get rid of those batteries. So if you're going to save your AA's and AAA's from your kids' toys, right, and you're going to put them in your, you know, like a little bag in the trash corner or recycling corner, you know, I have to put that on a scale and weigh
Right.
it. And then I have to tell you, this is how much I pay. I'll show you what I'm paying. This
Okay.
is nonprofit. Like this is awareness. This is for people to do the right thing.
Okay.
I can make money the way I make money, and that's the other part of what we were going to get into, is how I came across stocks.
Right.
That being the silver. That being this.
Okay.
So I don't care about making money with this. This is just a life passion. I don't have kids, so my legacy.
You, me either.
Yeah, well, my legacy is going to bring on the world the idea of e-waste recycling. And I'm going to find ways to recycle the plastics that we consider non-recyclable.
Cool.
Actually, if you look deep enough, they're not non-recyclable. They're only recyclable if you have like 6 football fields worth of land to stack them 60 feet high.
And we don't have that. Most people don't.
Yeah, so why would you ever even get in the business of it? And there's not much money in it.
Right. Okay.
And what can they actually recycle it for? But what if people like me with new ideas came in and started innovating? This is a new business. This has not existed before.
That's right. You're an innovator for sure.
Nobody thought of this before 20 years ago because we didn't have piles of e-waste.
Right. Okay.
Before there was electronic waste, there was no electronic waste.
Okay.
So there was no books about it.
Right. Okay.
This is the first one on the market that I've seen, and I hope to be able to write my own. And I hope to be able to find ways. There's like 4 or 5 different kinds of plastics that are non-recyclable, and I believe that I can find a reason to recycle all of them.
Okay. Wow. Well, in addition to all this, I know that you're a very creative guy with poetry. You've written some poems that you read to me on the way over here, and they were very inspiring, almost to the point of being rappable, like the way Eminem does it. But
Oh, you like the tight rhymes?
so I just want to tell everybody that this gentleman he's a creative guy in addition to his entrepreneurial ideas. He's creative in a literary sense as well. So
I can spit a couple if you have
just
time.
spend a couple of short ones and the show then will
I
probably
don't
be time
think
to wrap the
anything I
show.
write is short, but I'll do my best.
Well, just
So
give us your best.
to this right here,
few
as
little blurbs.
we're waiting to this right here.
Yep.
So I found silver when I found some silver coins, and then I got excited about silver, and then I invested in the stock market, and I had no idea what I was doing. I just got a message from Robinhood because Google's creepy,
Okay.
and they just like pretty much listen to what you say while you're sleeping, and they knew that I wanted to invest in silver, so somehow they sent me a Robinhood thing, and I joined it. And I called my brother, found out he was trading for 5 years and didn't tell me anything about it. And that was interesting. I was like, wow, you could have gotten a free stock from me. So I started Robinhood, and I put my first $700 into a silver company. And I lost $250 in the first week
Okay.
because I started on March 1st. of 2020,
Okay.
which is the declared date.
Clear of the pandemic.
Yeah, like it's February 28th is the
Didn't help,
declared
I know.
date, but like that's the second day. So
Okay.
yeah, so I lost like, almost everything that like when if you lose that much money, you think about that. It's like up that, So you look at 750,000 in the market. You just lost $250,000 in 1 week,
Okay.
and it's your first time ever trying. You're never, you've never even heard of a stock or touched one before. You just have this Robin
But
Hood
you've done
thing.
better since then, right?
I turned that around. I stayed up. I was up 24/7. I studied everything. I was listening to like 3 different channels at the same time.
Okay.
Stock TV, like CNBC, and then like Thinkorswim. They have 2 different TV stations.
Right.
There was so much that I embedded in my head. I studied graphs. I studied numbers. I got so intense on it. I bought into artificial intelligence almost $20,000 now. And I bought into Banyan Hill Publishing
Okay.
over $5,000.
Wow.
So I have advice coming from one of the best publishing companies in the country, on top of the fact that I have artificial intelligence that tells me what's going to happen the next day.
Cool. Well, guess what? We're under 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yep.
So here we go.
We want to read a couple of little ditties of yours,
Yeah,
and then we'll wrap
let's
the show
do
up.
some blips. Yeah, I wish
Okay.
we had more time, man. There's
No, I understand,
obviously
but we'll-
so much to say.
We'll
but
show how inspirational you can be. Go ahead. It won't take long.
All right. Cocked with writer's block, socks rocks a brisk walk, risk by thought, becomes the sum of fighters to talk. Freely I see me, seemingly dreamly, cleaning and clearing and rearing the endearing feelings, steering and fearing, nearly adhering, appearing to be healing, stealing back to the act, to impact. In fact, I was lacking action, so even a fraction is a passionate bet, and yet gaining traction, I faction reaction. Ask me if I'm slacking, stacking, and contractions, and contradictions, as if they were my predictions. Redaction or reduction, my construction, comes with instruction. Undone, I run for fun. I come to drum to the beat of heated burn. Now, my turn to yearn. That I have earned. I learned, concerned, I turn and mourn. Though I'm confirmed and discerned why I was born, with the horns of a devil, which I revel and level, the rebel, disheveled. Held high was I, not wise with pride. I decide to divide from my demise. What a surprise, guys. No more utter lies. I fly with butterflies. Compromise and not despise. I rise to the top and not stop as I hop. Only lonely I drop and flop with the clock. So I knock on the rock. Back to my walk. Will it ever stop?
Oh, that's beautiful. See that, everybody? That's a talented guy with all kinds
You
of.
didn't even hear that one.
I know. I didn't have to. I knew you'd make
I
it
get
great.
the other ones. They must be just further down on the list.
All right,
But,
look. Now just
good
before-
enough.
What's that?
I think that's good enough.
That's
man.
perfect. It is. So, just before we wrap the show up, you want to say hi to a few people that are going to see the show, and then we'll call it a snap from me, and then that'll be the
Yeah,
show.
I'd like to say
do
hi
it quick.
to my family.
Okay.
They knew who they are, and my friends, and they
know
who they are.
All right. And again, if you had a good time with me, send anyone my way. I love getting guests through word of mouth. You got
Excellent.
my digits. They know how to reach me.
I'd like to give you some other unbelievable stories. I mean, I write a lot more than that. I write, the things I read here on the way here weren't all rhyming poetry.
No,
they
but
were,
this was
they were
great.
more
You just
thoughts
showed-
on life.
Oh,
but
well,
yeah,
read, I should
no,
say.
I mean that was synchronicity. I didn't even know it was going to be that good.
I always say everything happens for a reason and when it's meant to.
Yeah, I mean, I read it with compassion and command and integrity.
Coming right from the heart, my good man.
Wow, it's my writing.
It should be. Let's do it. Okay, folks, thanks for watching Topic Time. More great episodes to follow. See you next time. Have a good one. Thank you. One ruptured disc, surgically fixed 42 years ago for me.